Wienerberger has played a major role in Vienna's development over the past 200 years. Our products have shaped the face of the city, from the classical style buildings along the Ringstrasse to the city's social housing. Throughout those years, innovation has been at the core of our activities. Creating something new, providing modern, affordable housing for people, and ensuring modern infrastructure have always been Wienerberger's foremost objectives. Even our founding fathers were guided by the principles of sustainability, now deeply rooted in the company. To this very day, social and ecological objectives are central to our sustainability management. Throughout Wienerberger's 200-year history, including 150 years as a listed company, people have always been at the heart of everything we do. The company owes its success to its 16,000 employees in 30 countries around the world and to all its customers and partners.
Austria certainly has every reason to be proud of Wienerberger, a company which shows that even with what you might call a classic product, with a whole range of classic products, you can still be highly innovative. As an Austrian company working with advanced technologies, you can become a global player and a world market leader. The fact that the company still has its headquarters on Wienerberg illustrates this wonderful link between tradition and worldwide operations.
But probably the people that I work with. It's more like a family. You're not just a name and a job title here. You're actually more than that. People want to get to know you outside of the job.
We got a great community, and you can't ask for a better town. People come around all over the world just to live here in Rome. Sometimes I wonder why, but we do have a great community.
I'm very passionate of my job, and I love it. I love it.
We all know each other so well. I love the way we stick together and work towards the same goal.
Customer proximity means active listening, identifying problems, and finding solutions.
Entrepreneurship at Wienerberger means to me to transform the existing into something new. And Wienerberger really is a company that provides you with an open culture, and that enables you to act as an entrepreneur while actually being an employee.
For me, passion means enjoying working with my colleagues, being proud of our products and our corporate culture, and contributing new ideas to make things even better.
Competency for me means high quality and innovative products that we offer our customers, but also anticipating future trends and using cutting-edge technology.
Quality at Wienerberger for me means robust business solutions. Responsibility means sharing ideas, addressing issues, and above all, translating ideas into action. At
Wienerberger, integrity and respect are reflected in the way we deal with one another. Whether you've just joined the company or been there a long time, whether you're young or old, the tone is always respectful and sincere.
It is precisely because of its 200-year history that Wienerberger is a young company. Entrepreneurship is in our DNA. We continually reinvent ourselves. In today's language, you could say we're a permanent startup. This means that we consistently rise to new challenges, not just in one country, but in 30 countries across the globe, and in many different product groups in a variety of markets.
I believe that you can't dissociate yourself from your family's history, and nor should you try to. For 2 generations, Wienerberger was in the hands of my family, and they made a great success of it. My great-great-great-uncle Miesbach and my great-great-grandfather Heinrich built and shaped the company from the early 19th century right up until the 1880s. That is family history and industrial history combined.
The
first brickworks on Wienerberg was established in the 16th century as part of a noble family's estate. Back then, it was one of the biggest of its kind, with an annual production of about 1.5 million bricks. From today's perspective, that's not much. But when the founder of Wienerberger decided to go into brickmaking, he deliberately chose the Inzersdorf brickworks on Wienerberg as they met all the criteria for successful production.
Denn hatte alle Kriterien, die notwendig waren, eine erfolgreiche Produktion zu starten.
First of all, you need large quantities of raw material. Drilling into the ground down to a depth of 45 meters, Miesbach found the same excellent clay as on the surface. You need a market for your products. The town was close enough. You need means of transport. There was Triesterstraße nearby. And you need workers. These were easy to find in and around Vienna. And that's probably the reason why, starting with Miesbach and his successor Drage, a company as big and important as Wienerberger developed on the site.
I would say that the 2 of them were instrumental in taking this major step into the industrial era. They were not the only ones, but they were extremely progressive, especially in the early part of the 19th century. Miesbach realized the importance of a location with easy access to the raw material. He also anticipated a development which was not yet foreseeable at the time, namely the future growth of Vienna as a city. The Biedermeier period was marked by an atmosphere of calm and stability. After the Napoleonic Wars, people's living conditions were gradually improving. Miesbach was quick to seize the opportunities of the time.
Mit dem Kanal hatten die Ziegler, im Speziellen eben Wienerberger mit Vorgänger Miesbach und Drage.
The canal was the ideal transport route for Miesbach and Drage to get their bricks into Vienna. Not only bricks, but also the coal from the company's mines south of Vienna, around Wiener Neustadt.
Auch in den Werken des Unternehmens produziert wurden, vom Süden, also vom Wiener Neustädter Bereich, nach Wien zu holen.
Miesbach took good care of his people. As he once said, "I live off my workers' labor. Why should I treat them badly?" By the standards and possibilities of the time, he did his best, introducing all sorts of facilities for the benefit of his workers.
Für das Wohl seiner Arbeiter waren. Der Dank war, dass
In 1848, the year of revolution, his workers expressed their gratitude by protecting the brickworks, while the mob was destroying factories elsewhere.
auch Drage weitergearbeitet. Hat Kinderbewahranstalten.
Drage continued along these lines. He introduced child-minding facilities, sick rooms, and even a kind of pension fund. However, even this was not enough to alleviate the misery of the workers back then. We're talking about genuine patriarchs or paternalistic enterprises.
Both Miesbach and Drage were aware of the need to introduce modern technology. They were both highly innovative. No matter if they had their own patents registered or got hold of them by other means, they implemented them on a large scale. Their style of working was unique. There was no one else in Europe to match the brick-firing technology employed by Miesbach and later by my great-great-grandfather, Heinrich Drage.
Im Ringofen mussten
The dried bricks had to be stacked manually in the circular kiln for firing. The bricks were transported from the drying rack to the circular kiln by hand.
Gerüst hinein in den Ringofen.
The fire in the circular kiln came down from the top and circulated around the kiln.
Oben und lief rund den Ofenbereich.
This was designed as a tenement building. He owned an apartment here, but the rest of the building was occupied by tenants. His intention was to erect a large mercantile building, and that is exactly what he did. People said it was the most beautiful tenement building in Vienna.
Schon damals, vor 150 Jahren, 150 years ago, the family company under its owner Drage went public. The Viennese Stock Exchange loved Wienerberger. An investment in the future, a sustainable investment that creates lasting values over many centuries. This is Wienerberger. Und das ist die Wienerberger. Basically, Wienerberger was a company controlled by Bank Austria and subsequently in a business partnership with a Belgian industrialist. It is only at the beginning of the 2000s that Wienerberger became a pure, free-float company. Its two major shareholders sold their shares on the stock exchange, which made Wienerberger the only Austrian company with all its shares publicly traded. This means that we have no controlling majority shareholder. Most of our current shareholders are investors based in the Anglo-American region.
Wienerberger ist einer unserer ältesten.
Wienerberger is one of our oldest issuers, listed for 150 years, permanently included in the ATX, our Austrian National Stock Index, and an excellent example of how a publicly traded company can create prosperity among the population by paying out a dividend on its profit. This is not just about living in a house built with Wienerberger bricks, but about having a stake in the success of the company that produced those bricks. So you are not just a consumer, but an investor in a key player in the Austrian economy.
This was the first museum built on the Ringstrasse, and it was built with Wienerberger bricks. The facade is a beautiful combination of brick architecture and other elements. I don't think that anyone would regard this historicist early Renaissance style and the way the building is decorated as kitsch. Wienerberger made some beautiful things. Important works of applied art at its best. Very often, it's the combination that makes it so appealing. It certainly deserves to be preserved.
Wenn man sich die Prachtstraße Wiens ansieht.
When you walk along the Vienna Ringstrasse with its magnificent buildings and palaces, you will see that many of them were built with bricks made by Wienerberger.
Wienerberger errichtet worden sind. Aber das ist die eine Seite.
That is one side of the coin. The reverse side was that the workers' living conditions in the fast-growing city were extremely poor. Given the economic and social conditions of the time, the brick workers, many of them immigrants from Bohemia, had a very hard life.
Schwierigen Lebenssituation gewesen. Es waren damals sehr schwere Arbeit.
The work was extremely grueling. Sanding the brick molds, for example. The workers performing this job were called the sandler, a term still used in a rather derogative sense in the Viennese vernacular of today. This tells you that these people didn't have a high social status at all.
We must assume that working conditions got even worse after the company went public in 1869. The change in the company's legal structure meant that profitability became the overriding objective, which in turn led to a drastic deterioration in working conditions. We're talking about the so-called brick Bohemians. Most of them came from Slovakia, Bohemia and Moravia, but there were also workers from Italy and other countries, an international labour force as we would say today.
Die böhmischen Arbeiter haben da mit dem Wirtshausbesuch begonnen.
The Bohemian workers began to gather in local inns to relax and have a good time. That's how the area got its name, from the brick Bohemians, as they were called. As a rule, making bricks from Wienerberg clay was piecework, and the rate of pay for piecework was better than for other forms of work.
Bezahlung war immer besser als wie woanders.
Apart from the dismal working conditions and accommodation, the so-called truck system was particularly hard on the workers. Most of their wages were not paid out in regular money, but in tin tokens. These had to be used in the company's own canteens and stores, to the workers' great disadvantage, as the prices charged there were higher than elsewhere. This was one of the features most heavily criticized by Victor Adler. In 1888, Victor Adler sneaked into the brickworks and documented the conditions there in the first investigative social reportage of the time.
The miserable living conditions of the brick bohemians motivated Victor Adler, a physician attending to the poor, to support the workers' movement, and later, exactly 130 years ago, to found the Social Democratic Workers' Party.
Es ist diese persönliche Beziehung, für mich eine fast mystische Beziehung.
For me, the relationship with this raw material, with clay, with the earth, is a personal and almost mystical one. This is the very essence of the product, its proximity to the human being, as reflected in this brick mark.
Heute ist es vielleicht das Rad, das nach der Presse mitläuft.
Today it's the wheel that follows after the press, that impresses the mark showing where the product comes from. It's a quality seal that marks the brick as an individual product, a safe, reliable product. Everything can be traced on the basis of the data imprinted on the brick. Being able to check and verify things gives us a feeling of safety and security. Wienerberger played an important part in all the construction activities going on in Vienna, even before the era of socialist Red Vienna. Many earlier tenement buildings had tiny flats no more than 20 square meters in size, 6, 8 or even 10 people crammed into a single flat. Wienerberger was also involved in the housing construction program of Red Vienna in the 1920s, when larger flats with proper sanitary facilities were built.
Wienerberger ist so wie viele Großunternehmen einfach von einem Mangel.
Like many other companies, Wienerberger suffered from a shortage of labor, as construction workers were drafted into the army and had to go to war. What happened next was typical of many Austrian companies at that time. Forced laborers were brought in, both male and female, and Jewish prisoners were also made to work for the company. On a small scale, Wienerberger also took over Aryanized companies, brickworks previously owned by Jewish shareholders. All in all, the classic story of an Austrian company during the Second World War.
The bombing was a terrible disaster. It destroyed the very heart of the business. Nothing remained from its most successful era during the 19th century construction boom.
The result was a concentration on Austria, followed by a long period of stagnation until Erhard Schaschel took the helm as CEO. He was the one who prepared the ground for the company's future, rebuilt and restructured it, injected fresh energy, and launched it on a course of expansion within Europe.
When I joined the company in 1980 as a very young man, it was a medium-sized enterprise in the east of Austria with 11 plants. By 2001, we had developed a worldwide presence, everywhere in Europe, plus America and China, with a total of 219 plants. The most impressive parameter, and possibly also the most objective comparison, is the company's stock exchange capitalization, the value of the enterprise on the stock exchange. It increased from 18 million euro, the equivalent of the value in Austrian shilling at the time, to 1.3 billion euro. Roughly calculated, that's a 75-fold increase. We had a very simple strategy, just 2 letters, evoking the company's great history, K und K. Konzentration und Konsequenz. Concentration and consistency. Focus on just a few things, but give them your full attention.
Und das mit Kraft.
Vor 150 Jahren hat
150 years ago, Wienerberger successfully introduced the circular kiln and perfected its design. The next milestone, about 60 years ago, was the first tunnel kiln set up at Hennersdorf, a production site still in operation today. These developments, just like innovations introduced today, were aimed at improving product quality, increasing efficiency in production, reducing energy consumption, and keeping environmental pollution as low as possible.
Sehr erfolgreich gelungen. Als zukunftsorientiertes Unternehmen.
However, as a forward-looking company, we are not satisfied with what we have achieved, but strive for continuous improvement. This applies to research and the development of new production technologies, the design of innovative products and solutions for our customers, and also to our ongoing operational excellence programs. And this approach is taken in all our product segments: bricks, roof tiles, pipes and pavers.
WIENERBERGER is a 200-year-old company. So when we decided to enter the Indian market, we decided to bring in all that experience to make tailor-made products that would be very relevant for our Indian customers here. And our basic philosophy is on sustainable products. Hence, natural optimization of resources, energy efficiency, and also delivering natural and green products is at the core of our business ethos.
So here you have a 200-year-old company that's expanded into the United States a few years ago, and with that brought the foundation of a success. It gives you, I guess, a good warm feeling that stability is there and the commitment is there. WIENERBERGER from the beginning with the acquisition of General Shell has supported us tremendously. And from that, we hope we've supported them in whatever challenges that they present to us and make it work.
Historically, WIENERBERGER's presence in the UK was as an importer of bricks and tiles from Belgium and Holland into the UK. In the late 90s and the early noughties, WIENERBERGER acquired a number of businesses, but we've always felt a huge affinity and link back to WIENERBERGER as a family. A large percentage of the products that we sell in the UK are manufactured in our sister company plants in Belgium, in France, in Germany, and in Denmark. So we've always felt part of the WIENERBERGER family. And we look to the centre and to the WIENERBERGER group to provide us with help and ideas and guidance to build a more innovative, customer-serving business.
Safety in the workplace is our top priority. We take a close look at each and every production workplace in order to assess the risk workers are exposed to. On this basis, we develop rules regarding the workers' clothing and personal protection equipment. We also have very strict safety rules for the startup of machinery and vehicles. Every year, a prize is awarded to the production site that has been operating the longest without any accidents. Plants that have not reported a single accident for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years qualify for a prize. Sustainability is a topic that Wienerberger addresses in a variety of ways. First of all, there's clay, the natural raw material for our bricks and ceramic pipes. Then there is production, where we employ resource and energy-efficient technologies. And finally, our products, which have a long service life, excellent thermal insulation properties, and, above all, are environmentally safe. Another issue is also extremely important to us, restoring the natural landscape to its original condition. We extract the raw material, use it to produce sustainable products, and recultivate depleted clay pits.
In recent years, our primary focus at Wienerberger has been innovation. Today, innovative products account for 25% of our total revenues. Wienerberger has thus become a driver of innovation in the building material industry. We offer our customers entirely new solutions, not only for walls and roofs, but also in infrastructure. At Wienerberger, we love research and development and come up with a high number of new products every year. We are also at the forefront of the digital transformation of the building industry. We work hand in hand with decision makers to increase efficiency at the construction site, which is a crucial factor.
During Miesbach's and Drage's time, a universal type of brick was used for every building, from palaces to industrial structures. In the course of time, special products were developed, tailor-made for the respective application. Today, there are bricks for multi-story buildings with high load-bearing strength and good sound insulation properties. Bricks for single-family houses with particularly high thermal insulation properties, and special types of bricks for industrial buildings. From a single product, the company now offers a huge range of specialized products. We also have solutions for pitched roofs, for flat inclined roofs. We have a whole universe of different shapes, colors and surface textures. Ultimately, we create space for people to live in. Wienerberger plays a crucial role with its clay blocks, roof tiles and pipe systems. Wienerberger created the Brick Award to honor contemporary brick architecture, focus attention on what can be done with bricks, and document the winning projects in the Brick Book.
We must learn and make do with less, and still live the way we want to live.
Das Haus in Vorarlberg ist im Moment sicher das radikalste Beispiel.
For the time being, this building in Vorarlberg is the most radical example of what we can do. A building of such quality that it needs none of the usual hardware, such as heating, ventilation, cooling. In more pragmatic terms, we have to use the qualities of the exterior environment and generate a comfortable interior environment for ourselves.
Für uns daraus einen Komfort zu generieren. Und das ist ein Prinzip, das ich
This principle plays an important role, not only in a building, but in life in general. We have to use what we've got in a more intelligent way. This is not a low-tech building. On the contrary, it is the ultimate in high-tech, because we replaced the classic hardware technologies with software. We thus achieved a better balance between the interior and the exterior of the building, and a more effective way of managing this balance.
Indem wir sozusagen das Verhältnis, das was im Gebäude und außerhalb des Gebäudes etwas durch Software besser balancieren und besser steuern.
Tiefbau im städtischen Bereich.
Civil engineering in an urban area means digging up a road and closing it to traffic, with people living in the vicinity suffering from noise, dust and other annoyances. This is where modern construction technologies come in, such as laying pipes underground without having to dig a trench. Burst lining, for example, is a procedure in which a damaged pipe is burst and simultaneously replaced with a new one. All I need to do is to dig 2 holes 200 meters away from each other, and between them I can install my new pipe without anyone noticing anything on the surface.
People from Wienerberger come to us. We talk about the building materials best suited for the project, and then we design the models that are to be incorporated into our master model and handed over to the design engineers. The advantage of this approach is a model that remains valid until the end of the construction phase, right up until the project is handed over to its users. Whatever happens is recorded in the model. Every single modification is documented and taken over by all the other design engineers. They all work from the same model.
Ich habe Wienerberger als hochinnovativen Konzern kennengelernt.
I've got to know Wienerberger as a highly innovative company, and I mean innovative in several directions. One aspect is the digital value chain, the modeling of design, construction and operation in a new digital world with new business models. As part of our research work, we want to evaluate a holistic modular solution for single-family houses developed by Wienerberger, in which the conventional sequence of procedures involved in the construction of a single-family house is replaced by a holistic view of design and construction. We are also working on the topic of knowledge management, an essential research priority at our institute, and one that coincides with Wienerberger's interests. By developing knowledge databases, you can make the experience of older, experienced experts available to young, motivated employees.
Auch jungen, engagierten Mitarbeiterinnen und Mitarbeitern die Erfahrung von älteren, erfahrenen Expertinnen und Experten an die Hand geben kann.
Today, we are a leading supplier of solutions, not only for roofs, walls and facades, but also for infrastructure applications. For infrastructure in particular, we offer state-of-the-art solutions and are trendsetters in smart infrastructure. Our systems can measure the water quality in the pipes and cope with any installation problem in buildings. These are key pillars of our success. Coming back to our founding fathers, the pipes back then were of course ceramic pipes used for fresh water supply and sewage disposal. For the fast-growing city of Vienna, water supply and pipelines to pump spring water into the city were essential. In retrospect, Wienerberger's decision to enter the pipe business was another forward-looking step. Once again, we made the decision to give Wienerberger a second industrial leg, a strong one, with revenues of over 1 billion euros, pipes and pipe systems. Our objective was to meet the growing demand for water supply and sewage disposal, and to guarantee security of supply in other areas, such as energy, be it electricity or gas, district heating, irrigation systems, or smart infrastructure.
Wir beginnen mit der Qualitätssicherung von Anfang an.
Quality assurance starts at the very beginning. From the raw material, we move on to the process, the product, and the final quality check. The same holds for pipes. We know how thick it is, we know its diameter, and at the end we check everything once more. You can hardly do more, and we know that when we sell the pipe, it will fit.
Durability is a particularly important aspect. The technical standards demand a useful life of 50 years. This means that all system components have to meet this standard. Naturally, our customers want products with the longest possible useful life, and we're already thinking about products that last for 100 years.
We had a good top-level management who could feel very fast that things have to change. So the strategy on top level was a good strategy. The second thing I think is that we had very good local management. Wienerberger was built from several local companies with very good management, and those management, the local management, had a very good contact with the local clients. They could feel very fast what happened. So the strategy was not the same in each country. Some countries we had to have another strategy than other countries. So I think it was very important. It was not a too heavy ship. So we could go very fast, because with a crisis you have to go very fast, and I think that is one of the success things that Wienerberger could do, is to act very, very fast.
Millionen Menschen auf dieser Erde haben kein Zuhause. Millions of people on our planet are homeless. They want or are in need of a roof over their heads. Even in the European Union, there are many people who do not have adequate housing. This is what we are working on, finding solutions for these people.
Es sind immer die Menschen.
It's always about people. People have the ability to befriend others, to make them feel at home, to support those weaker than themselves.
Geborgenheit zu geben, Schwächere zu unterstützen. Und bei Wienerberger gibt es solche Menschen in der Führung.
There are people at Wienerberger in management positions who aspire to protect, help and build homes, not just to earn money, but also with a social goal in mind. This is reflected internally in the way they deal with employees and externally in the support given to social projects, such as my own project aimed at helping Roma families and giving a home to the poorest of all.
Ärmsten, unbehausten Menschen unterstützen. Seit vielen Jahren habe ich Freunde bei Wienerberger.
Das hat zur Folge, dass die Ziegel, die ich überall sehe.
I have had friends at Wienerberger for many years, so the bricks I see everywhere talk to me. They talk of friendship, but also of suffering, because I live with people who can hardly afford to build a house. The poorest Roma families in Romania have not even got the tiles to stop the leak in the roof. And I am fortunate enough to build homes for them, or rather with them, to repair leaking roofs so that they can keep warm. For me, this is a source of happiness, and I owe it to my friends at Wienerberger.
Das ist ein großes Glück und das verdanke ich meinen Freunden bei Wienerberger. Der Baustoff ist sehr irdisch. Und der Mensch ist sehr irdisch.
The building material has an earthly quality, just like the human being. I think there is a close, natural relationship there. The building material has a lot to do with warmth. It offers warmth, which is what I do in my pastoral ministry as a social worker. It is my task to offer warmth so that people can flourish and feel safe. This is what houses built with bricks can do: offer security and perhaps convey a feeling of being grounded, of being rooted in nature, feeling safe and at home. This is what we all long for.
Und alles hat mit Geborgenheit zu tun, nach der wir uns alle sehnen.
Wienerberger war und ist. Wienerberger has always benefited from the entrepreneurial spirit of our employees and making us fit for the future. Just look around you. From up here we can almost see into the future. Where do we want to be in 3 to 5 years from now? This is the crucial question. The projects we have initiated, especially in the field of digitalization, will help us to get where we want to be. Being the market leader also means taking the lead in innovation. It is the strength, the energy and the optimism we convey that makes the difference.
Diese Kraft, diese Energie, diese Zuversicht.
Wir sind jung. Wienerberger has stayed young. In sports terms, we could say that we are on the top of our game, always ready to take on a new challenge.